Welcome. This is a 60-minute bowspring practice. I will use blocks, maybe a strap, and also potentially a blank wall, so that can be handy. And let's begin. So please sit up tall. This is where you could use your block. And if you are on the block, just lean forward and pull your butt flesh up. Look forward, and then float your arms in front of you. Bend your elbows and touch the tips of your fingers together. And please close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, a question to ponder is, how do you feel when you step into the dark? And previously in the yoga methodology that I studied, the emphasis was on looking for the good, opening the heart and seeing the positive in every situation. But sometimes, of course, that's difficult to do. And when we do look inwards, we see darkness, potentially sadness, the light that we often try to hide. So in practice today, not necessarily hiding from that, but as you go inward, notice where the emotions are, where the thoughts are, where the feelings are, and be less judgmental and more open to expanding the dark side of yourself. And in terms of the heart, that could be considered the back of the heart. So on an inhale, broaden through your upper back, lift your chin, and keep the lift even as you exhale. And one more breath together. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. And then open your eyes to open to the light. Reach your arms forward, lean forward, lift your hips up, and touch the tips of your fingers together or to the floor in dome hands position. Move your knees back. Just position yourself where you're in a place where you can be in all fours but on fingertips. And when I first did this, I thought it was impossible because, of course, if you move your weight forward over your fingertips, the fingertips themselves can't handle the weight. So instead, move your weight back. Put the weight and strength into your back body, into your legs, your glutes. And then as you push down with your hands, lift the rib cage up higher. Push your knees out to the side. Opportunity to lift your left hand. Bend your elbow. Turn your palm in front of you, just a hand mirror position. And then lower your left down and lift your right. Bend your elbow, hand mirror. An opportunity to see yourself without literally seeing yourself. And touch your hands down. Now, extra challenge, move your weight back and lift both hands to hover. So not rising to a kneeling position, keeping the arms forward, look forward, push your knees out to the side. Take one more deep breath in, and then touch your hands in dome. Go dome to bright, so hands flatter to the floor, and tuck your toes under, lift your hips up and back for crouching cat position. So harnessing the strengths that you created with your glutes there, bend your knees. Tilt your sit bones up into the air and bring your chin forward so it's in line with your hands. Push down with your hands, and on an inhale, broaden and expand your rib cage up so you get wider through your back body. Actively push your hands away from each other so your arms get stronger and more toned. One way to sit in the darkness with yourself is to hold positions a little bit longer, to actually find comfort in the discomfort. Move your right foot a little closer to the left foot, and then lift your left leg out to the side in the dog fire hydrant position. So pull your knee forward, move your hips back, opportunity to rise onto your left fingertips. And then final stage, should you choose, is to add a little bit of a bicycle pedal. And going slow, imagining there was a resistance. You were biking up a steep hill and you're actually pushing hard, pulling on the pedal and lifting it up, creating tone and strength through the awareness. Lower your left hand bright, lower your left foot next to your right foot, pause, take a breath in, and then a breath out. Rise onto your right fingertips and lift your right leg out to the side. Push the knee forward, move your hips back, keep your hands pushing down, fill into your back body, opportunity to add the bicycle action with the right leg, pulsing and moving, breathing deeply, keeping your eyes looking forward. Okay, one more breath in, and then lower your hand, lower your foot, and lower your knees without dropping your heart down. So actively push your hands down, lift through your back body, move your hips back, allow your belly to drop slightly but not relax. So the belly drops but then tones and squeezes firm. Rise onto your left fingertips, or you could go on a fist. This is where if you have a block, you could use that as well. Lean to the right and lift your left leg out to the side. So same thing as before, except this time lower and lift your leg. So drop the leg down and reopen the leg. And you can continue that, just moving with your breath where you inhale to open and exhale to close. And I often see with students that the assumption is that faster is harder and better, but sometimes slower wins the race in the end. So moving mindfully, inhale, using the whole inhale to lift your leg up, and then the whole exhale to bring your leg down. Adding a little fire and a little flair to the practice. Okay, one more. Keep your leg out to the side with your knee forward in line with your hips, or even slightly forward of your hips. Begin to extend your legs straighter to the side, and it might not go all the way to straight, and that's okay. No pressure. Finish for 3, 2, 1, and bend your knee. Lower your knee down. Just changing position so you can see. On an inhale, lift your right leg out to the side, and then lower your right knee down. And continue to just open and close the leg. Again, imagining there's resistance. Maybe it's an elastic band around your thighs, and the further you go out to the side, the more intense it becomes. And you'd be surprised at how powerful the practice can be when you just initiate through that imaginary sense of resistance, like you're holding weights or you're pushing against a resistance band. It can be revolutionary in life as well. I've been going on several years now where just all I have are imaginary friends. And the great thing is you decide. They always are supportive, never talk back. Next time your knee is out to the side, keep it out to the side. Move your hips back. Keep your right knee forward and then extend your leg out to the side. That's as straight as I go. That is so intense for me. Finish for 3, 2, and 1. Lower your knee. Crouching cat position again, except this time lower your elbows down to the ground. I like to just hold on to a block for it. Have the feet fairly wide, so maybe as wide as your mat. And then tuck your toes and lift your hips up. So crouching cat on the forearms in Bowspring is called crouching sphinx position. You might also call it maybe crouching dolphin position. More commonly dolphin in the yoga world. Actively push down with your forearms, the entire length of the forearm. So from your wrists to your elbows, push down so you lift up through your rib cage. Becoming sensitive to the entire forearms, an area that's maybe on the less sensitive side. Unless you're like me and have arm hair on this particular sticky mat that slowly rips off the hairs one by one. Move your right foot a little closer to the left foot. Lift your left leg out to the side, the dog at a fire hydrant position. If you need a little bit more leverage for height, you can do an outrigger arm, where you move the left arm out to the side straight on fingertips. Pause and hold. Just like in crouching cat, opportunity to add the bicycle movement. Slow and steady wins the race. Of course, you are always welcome in practice if you feel steady to close your eyes and experience the feeling without the sensation of the visual component. Lower your left foot next to your right foot. Lower your left elbow back down. Going over to the other side, lift your right leg out to the side. Hold strong. Opportunity for the outrigger arm. Arm out to the side. And then you can add the bicycle pedal. Pulling in, move the knee forward. Imagine that resistance that you're pushing out against, holding strong. Finishing for 3, 2, and 1. And lower your knees. Lower your elbow back down. All forearms position. And here in all forearms, just changing the stretch for a thigh stretch. Lift your left leg back behind you. Bend your knee. And as best as you can, reach behind with your right hand to grab hold of the big toe side of your foot. So it's important after some challenging dynamic positions to take a pause, maybe focus a bit more on the stretch component. So use your right hand to pull your left foot. Kick your foot into your hand, lift your knee higher, and twist towards the right side of your space. Pausing, breathing deeply, lift the knee to your capacity. Know what your edge is. Know when too far is too far. And one more breath. Then on an exhale, slowly lower your knee down, lower your elbow down, and switch sides. Lift your right leg back, pause, lean to your right forearm, lift your left arm, reach back, grab hold of the big toe side of your foot. Kick your foot into your hand, lift your knee higher, twist from right to left, hello, hi, and lift as high as you can comfortably, moving your weight back towards the left heel so it's a little less on that upper body. Okay, one more breath in. And then as you exhale, lower your hand down, lower your knee down. Rise up to your right hand and tuck your toes under. Crouching cat position again. Here in crouching cat, just testing what differentiates crouching cat from downward facing dog is by being forward with your head. You put the arms into the forward plane position, which makes it more accessible to do one-armed crouching cat. So rise to your left fingertips, and then even lift your left hand. You can go into that hand mirror. If you have a scratch and sniff sticker, you could use that and just put it up against your face, pausing to hold. I would like to see someone bring a mirror and be like, yep, still look great. Bowspring's doing wonders for me. Lower your hand and then lean to your left, rise onto your right fingertips. Pause to hold, keep the tips of the sit bones high up into the air. And then lift your right hand, palm in front of you. Pause to hold. You can add a little bit of a pulse with your legs, staying strong and engaged. Not like engaged to someone else like a fiance, but just muscles toned. But not like musically toned, but like engaged. Oh, wait, this is gonna go on forever. Lower your right hand, look forward, step or playfully hop forward near your hands. Doesn't have to make it all the way. And instead of going into a deep rounded position, Bowspring focuses the rest a little bit more in the halfway lift position. So place your hands to your knees. Recovery, so not so tilted forward. Bend your knees forward into your hands. Resist back by pushing your hands into your thighs so you get the belly long, lengthen through your spine. Tuck your chin. Use your inhale to fill into your back ribs. Instead of having the shoulders go forward, broaden your arm bones out to the sides and move your hips back. And then on an inhale, keep the bend to your knees, but just rise up. Touch the tips of your fingers together for globe hands. And I do know some have a hard time with globe hands. You could interlace the fingers like a zipper. And the benefit of this position is you have the opportunity to push the hands into each other through the inner webbing of the fingers. But you can also hook the fingers to the outside of the hands and pull to get a broadening. And actually that's, I think, a great position to do. So going more to the zipper hands interlaced, hook the fingers around and then start to pull the hands energetically apart. Open the elbows wider. Of course, they won't go that far. Again, it's more imaginary. And then broaden and fill into your back body. Close your eyes and feel that expansiveness of your rib cage. Imagine a weighted belt like a scuba diver, dropping your hips down and back. As you pull the hands, fill into your back body, rise the rib cage up. Then lean over to your right foot. Step your left foot forward just a little bit. And then with the toes down, keep your heel lifted. Push your foot forward to move your hips back. And then energetically pull back on the foot to tone the back of your left leg, the calf muscles, the hamstring muscles, and then slowly pull the leg back as you tilt forward into Propeller Pose. Propeller Pose is just the bowspring variation of Airplane Pose or Warrior 3. So having the knees bent, tilting forward. If you want to modify with the arms, you're welcome to. You could put both hands to your front thigh. One thing that's nice here is you just feel the strength of your own legs. You could also go left hand to left knee, right hand to right knee. Push the knees forward, move your hips back. Keep your chin lifted. Pause to hold and breathe. And then one more balance on the legs here. Swing your left leg up and over. Wrap your left leg over the right leg. Welcome to make a kickstand position where it becomes Phoenix instead of Eagle. The same with the arms. The classic position is left arm under right arm, making a twist tie with the arms like this. You could also hold shoulders or elbows, but my preference is actually to put the hands to the top of the head, emphasize the lifting up of the rib cage while that weighted belt drops the hips down and back. So lifting up, getting the belly long, and then once you get that length, tone and engage, create strength through your abdominal muscles. So they're engaging and getting more of that muscular tone in a lengthened position as opposed to the classic short position of a crunch. Okay, one more breath in. And then breath out, sit a little lower. On your next inhale, unwrap the legs, unwrap the arms, reach up high, big stretch. Step your feet fairly wide here and bend your knees. Place your hands to your knees. Just a little bit of an interlude here. Push your knees forward, move your hips back. If you want a little bit more of a mood enhancer, you can literally grab your cheeks, whoop, pull them up, and take a twist towards the left. How I do this here is I hook the right elbow to the inside of the right knee and hold on to the outside of the left knee with that hand. And with the left hand, just emphasizing the low back curvature going in the sacrum, right at the base of the spine, going in and up. And then pulling with the hand, pushing back with the knee while the elbow resists the right leg as well. And then from there, just working the legs a little bit straighter. On an inhale, come back up through center. I'll show it from a different angle. Tilt forward, and then this time left elbow can go on the inside of the left knee. Hold the outside of the right knee, right hand to your hip or low back. If it's low back, move the sacrum in and up, twist. You don't have to wrench the twist. It can be just a twist, maybe at about a 45-degree angle. So not twisting to the direct side. And I think that's a bit more of a functional position. We don't really do deep twists in everyday activities, and that's actually the source of a lot of injuries, potentially. especially when you add weights or quick movements. On an inhale, instead of quick, mindfully come out and then reach the arms forward. Again, you can zipper up the hands. Keep the arms low just so that you don't get the upper traps engaged or over engaged. Move towards your left foot. Step your right foot forward just a little. And the emphasis here is to dig the foot forward and down to move your hips back and hollow out the groins, the front of the pelvis. Then drag, pull the foot back, tone the back of your leg, and slowly, as you pull it back, lift it into the air. Tilt forward, bend your standing leg. Opportunity to find a little bit of a pulse, up and down. Same as before, you could put your hands to your knees and push your knees into that resistance that you create for yourself. Isn't that just what happens in life? We create our own resistance. Pushing the knees forward, keep the hips back, look forward. Okay, then as smooth as you can, swing your right leg up and over your left leg. I just like the version where you kickstand because you can create that dig action by pushing the right foot forward to move the hips back. You can also do the drag, pulling the right foot back. Hold the hands above your head, or go for classic eagle arms, right arm under left arm for the full wrap, and then lift up high, sink down low. Full breath, lift to your capacity. Okay, then unwrap your legs, unwrap your arms, and step your feet wide. It might help to turn to the longer edge of your space. Then tilt forward, place your hands to your knees. Pausing to hold here, move your hips back, tilt forward to touch your hands down on fingertips. And just the dome hand position allows you to just touch the fingers down, but not necessarily to weight bear. Okay, then keep your left hand as it is on the ground and cup the back of your head with your right hand. Push your head into your hand so you lift up. Stretch your belly forward, keep the knees bent. Push your knees energetically to the side and try to move the rib cage forward as you send your hips back. Final stage is to lift your left hand, hold the outside of your right elbow, pull the elbow to the midline, push your head into your hand, move your hips back, pause to hover, and then keep the arch you create in your low back and push your legs a little straighter. And it might even help to pulse the legs a few times. Breathing strong, holding steady. Don't forget, fill the back of the heart, the dark heart, the place that's forgotten. One more breath in, and then touch your hands down. Woo! Hallelujah, I'm doing it too. It ain't easy. Good news, you're not an octopus, so there's only two sides to do instead of, I don't know how many there would be. Rise onto right hand fingertips and cup the back of your head, left hand. I understand octopi have 8 limbs. I'm just thinking of like one limb would hold one elbow and then another limb would have to hold that same. There'd be multiple versions. I know 8. I know. Move your hips back, pull the rib cage forward. I know. And then opportunity to lift your right hand, hold the outside of your elbow, pull the elbow in, push back against your own resistance, keep the bend to your knees, fill into your upper back so it's not just overarching your low back all the way to the upper back. Keep the slight roundedness shape, moving the hips back, staying strong. Begin to pulse your legs straighter and rebend your knees. Try not to change the rotation of your pelvis by tucking under as the legs straighten. So keep that shape and feel the stretch through your hamstrings for 3, 2, and 1. Woo! And touch your hands down. I don't want to stop anyone. If you're a handstand press person, you can just lean forward and float into handstand or hop a few times on the spot. Go for it. Average folks, I think, are going to need some space. We've got a wall, blank wall near me here. So hand to one knee, hand to the other knee, pause, smile, and then heel toe the feet towards each other. I once was asked, what's so functional about doing handstands? The answer is there really isn't anything. We don't necessarily do handstands in life from a function side of things, but it is fun. And that's a big part, is to just find the playfulness. And of course it changes our perspective, allows us to view the world differently. So starting with your hands to your knees, tilt forward, having your back at the wall. I'm going to set up, I might have one hand on the mat and one that's not on the mat, so not necessarily fully balanced here, but that's okay. Hands down, lean forward, and then step one foot up the wall. Push with that foot to step the other foot up. Pausing to hold. Again, you can tuck the chin in a little bit. Breathe into your upper back. Push your arms straight and pause to hold here. This is a great place to just start to get comfortable being upside down. Great place to train the arms to get stronger. It takes time for the arms to get stronger. Okay, one more breath. And slowly come down. Pause in recovery position. That's where you place your hands to your knees. Tuck your chin in. Push your knees forward. Move your hips back. You could even put your butt up against the wall so it maintains that lift. Look forward. And then just push the legs a little bit straighter. You can reach the arms forward. Doing the same, but changing it up. So same, but different. And that will be that you can twist your legs one way and then the other way. For twisted handstand, sometimes it was called twisted chair position in Bowspring. I think twisted handstand's a little bit easier to remember, but tilt forward, touch your hands down, maybe lift the other foot up first. This is the one I rarely lift first. Push with that foot and come all the way up. So same as before, having your knees bent about 90 degrees, knees at the height of your hips, maybe even lower or higher, just find where it's comfortable. And then turn your feet and your hips towards the left. Pause to hold. And then come back to center and turn your feet and hips to the right. And just notice the weight changes on the arms. Eventually you can do these twists while you're holding handstand in the middle of your space. Eventually may not be today. And then slowly step down, rise up, hands to your knees, recovery position. Make your way back to your space. And when you arrive back at your space, float your arms forward in front of you. Touch the tips of your fingers together. Lean over to your left foot. Step the right foot forward just a little bit. Push the foot forward. Move your hips back. And then pull the foot back. Feel the strength of your leg as you then drag it back. The propeller position, but using this to switch into a lunge. So touch your foot down. Bend your knees. Move your hips back. Stay lifted through your rib cage. Lifted with your chin. And begin to twist towards the left. So one way to check how you feel when you step into the dark is to first lift your front heel just a little bit, just a tiny lift, keep your knees bent, move your hips back, and final stage is to close your eyes and test your balance that way. And if you're not falling over, you're either an ace or you're like me and your eyes are 90% closed and you can still see a little bit, kind of like the old days in elementary school with heads down, thumbs up, 7 up. Lower your front heel, push off, lift your back foot, point your toes, and then bring the top of your foot down first. And then slowly lower down so you can bring the top of your shin to the ground. One shin balance, reach your arms forward. Step the left foot forward a little bit. Again, push the foot forward, move your weight back, pull the foot back as you lift the leg up into the air. using your hands to balance. I don't know that it's possible to actually close your eyes, and you may have to do that 90%. And I may have admitted to cheating as a child in heads down, thumbs up, 7-Up. And it may have been more that I was keeping track of what shoes people were wearing as they came around. Okay, step your foot forward and a little bit out to the left. Make a wide sweeping arc over towards the right. And then you can add a little bit of a seaweed sway as you do that, as we have the seaweed hero join us. Bowspring in the winter. Arc way over to the side. You might even use a block here for Mantis Position. Cup the back of your head with your left hand. Hug your elbow in. Tilt your right ear to your right shoulder. Push your left foot forward. Move your hips back. Lift the left side rib cage up and lift your chin away from your chest. Actively stay strong. Put enough weight back in your legs that you might even be able to lift your right hand, and you can hold the outside of the left elbow. Pull the elbow down as you resist and push up. So elbow pulls down, resist, push up. Begin to twist from right to left. Rise. Woo. Okay, and then come all the way up. Arms forward and wide in the lunge position. Next one is called back to the future pose, which is an interesting one, which is a wide sweeping arc over towards the left. Put your left hand to your right heel. You can cup the back of your head with your right hand. You could go fist to the top of the head, lift your chin, or even stretch and reach your arm up and long. Are you telling me you built a time machine? Back to the future. Come back up. Reach the arms forward and wide. Going back to one shin balance, so lift your left heel, lift your left foot, and attempt to put your foot to your upper inner thigh for the tree version when you're in one shin balance, which is called shrub. Woo, woo. Okay, one more pose, a little bit of play off of lizard pose in classical yoga. One shin balance, and then place your left heel to the front of the right knee, but foot on the ground, and then move the arms over to the right. You might benefit by having your hands on blocks. Push the back knee forward, pull your front heel back, move the hips back, lengthen your rib cage both forward and a little bit out to the right, and then opportunity to slowly lower down onto your elbows, staying strong and engaged with your legs. And it just depends. Poses are so different for everyone. This is a huge stretch, huge with 3 O's for the outer left hip. But if you are already quite flexible, what Bowspring may do for you is create more strength than flexibility and actually bring the body into a more harmonious balance. So you can overdo it, you can overdo strength, you can overdo stretch. And you don't really know until you experiment with various forms over long periods of time, which could be years. Push to slowly come up, and then reach your arms forward and wide. Step the left foot forward a little bit. Spring off the back leg to step forward. Nicely done. And then lean to your right foot. Touch the tips of your fingers together, globe hands. Step the left foot forward a little bit. Push your foot forward. Move your hips back, pull the foot back, feel the tone through the back of your leg, woo! And then lift the leg back behind you, tilt forward. Opportunity to create a little bit of a pulse as you slowly step your foot back. So pushing the right foot forward, get more weight into the back leg as if you're ready to load and push off of the back foot. But you're far enough back that you could even lift the front foot. So finding that place where the legs are active, engaged, you're ready. You're ready for anything. And then twist towards the right, lift your front heel, push the right foot forward, move your hips back, test your ability to see in the dark. Close your eyes and breathe. Okay, and then return to center, lower your front heel, push off of the back foot, point your toes, and slowly bring the top of the foot down, and then lower down onto the top of the shin. Move your hips back, reach your arms forward and wide. Again, a little step forward can help by pushing the foot forward to actually have the groins go in and back. Pull the foot back, lift your front foot, pause and hold. Embrace the challenge, embrace the wiggle, the wobble, the waddle, the waffle, waffles. Setting up for Mantis position, specifically baby Mantis position. So step your right foot towards the front right-ish space. You can add a little bit of swaying seaweed, moving the rib cage first and allowing the arms to just follow along, and a wide sweeping arc over to the left hand down or on a block. You go right hand cupping the back of your head, or I often like to do the fist version at the top of the head to push the head against that resistance. Move your hips back towards the left heel, lift the right side rib cage up. If I go to the next variation, which I did on the first side, where the hips go back, I usually cup the back of the head so that I can then lift the left hand, pull the right elbow down, resist, push the elbow up into the hand pulling down, and then from that resistant, twist the rib cage, keep the right foot pushing forward, the left knee pressing out to the side, move the hips back, lift, 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 and then come all the way up. Pausing to hold, reach your arms forward and wide, and then going off to the other side. So reaching over to the right to bring the right hand to the heel can help, instead of having the foot totally pointed and flat, to actually pull the toes towards the front heel so that the front of the ankle lifts, and it just makes it a bit more accessible to touch your hand to your heel. You can cup the back of your head or fist the top of your head, lift the rib cage up. Breathe fully and deeply. Okay, and then push to come up. Reach the arms forward and wide. I'll just change the view on this one so that you can see one shin balance, going for Shrub Pose. So lifting the front foot and then putting the foot to the upper inner thigh. The arms help to counterbalance on this one. Holding for your favorite shrub, which not many people have a favorite shrub, usually a tree, not a shrub. Okay, come out of the pose, and instead of lizard where you have your foot way forward and then both elbows down, pull the right heel directly in front of the right thigh and knee. Move a little bit over to the left. I'm just bringing the blocks with me. And in this case, using the blocks, I'll pull on the blocks to try to move the rib cage forward as I imagine someone pulling the hips back. That's where I use those imaginary friends, imaginary adjusters. Move the hips back, pull the rib cage forward, and then maybe come down onto the elbows. I might even go highest block setting in that case. Woo! That's me getting excited. Stretching. Stretching's great. Love to stretch. Okay, and then slowly come back up. Reach the arms forward. Step your right foot forward a little bit. tuck the back toes, and then push off to step all the way up. And then go Hercules class, just where you cross your hands in front of you. Keep the elbows low, pull the hands away from each other, lean to your right foot and take a step back with your left. Turn your right toes in, coming into that wide-legged position that we did earlier, right before the handstands. Now, setting up for side coil, turn the left foot in a little bit, right? The foot you'd right with if you were left-footed, and then turn your right foot out. Bend both knees, tilt forward, and place your right forearm to your thigh. Then with your left hand, grab your left butt and pull it up. You can even check to see that there's a little arch through your low back and begin to twist towards the left. Side coil position, opportunity to cup the back of your head with your left hand. Then you can crouch down fairly low in this position, twisting from right to left. Okay, and then setting up for the half moon variation, I like to use a block for this, so position it just a little bit in front of the right foot. So right hand down, push off of the back leg, pull your left knee in so it's in line with your hip, and then open the knee out to the side, twist from right to left, opportunity to hold the back of your left thigh and extend your legs straighter to the side. Not easy if you want to hold this for a long period of time, or continue talking in your normal voice. Bend your knee, slowly step your foot back. If you use the block and want to use it on the other side, bring it with you. Set it up for the other side. Pause, hands to knees. Getting ready, getting the game face on. Turn the right toes in. And it might be a little bit more than traditional yoga. It might even be almost at a 45-degree angle. And turn your left toes out. Again, just speaking towards functionality, there's very few activities we do in day-to-day life where we have one foot turned one way and the other directly 90 degrees out to the side. It probably would be in a little bit more. Tilting over to the left, place your left forearm to your thigh, right hand can go to your butt, pull your butt up, twist from left to right, sink down lower, opportunity to cup the back of your head, moving, twisting from left to right, push your head into your hand. I actually prefer having the fist at the top of the head just to move the rib cage forward, the head forward as the hips go back and down, and finding the pulse where the inhale is moving forward, the exhale is dropping back, and eventually trying to find both actions simultaneously. Look to the floor, setting up for the half moon variation. Push off the back foot, lift the right leg up, pull your knee in, maybe hand to the front of the knee, lift the knee out to the side. It's okay to have the standing leg bent. If that's the case, try to turn your foot from big toe side to little toe side, move your outer thigh back, lift the right knee higher, opportunity to hold the back of your thigh, and then extend your leg out to the side. I giggle because it's so intense. Holy guacamole. We're 3, 2, and 1, and step your foot back, rise up, hands to your knees. Now turn your feet out, both at about a 45-degree angle. This one, a little bit more what you'd be in if you're riding a horse, so saddle position. Lift your heels, lift your arms to a chin-up bar position, sink down low, drop the hips lower. Imagine that you could actually hold on to a bar. This is something you could do at a gym, or if you actually have those pipes that go through your place and they're exposed. Usually it's the water pipe, so you don't want to break that. But holding on, pulling down to lift the rib cage up as you sink lower. Again, pull, lift up, sink lower. One more breath, and then straighten your legs. Turn your toes in, wiggle your feet towards each other. Face your front, and then we'll just position to lie onto the side body. So lift the left foot, step it forward a bit, push the foot forward, drag the foot back, tilt forward, touch the top of your foot down, and then move your weight back, lift your front heel, lift your front foot, bring the leg back, touch your hands down, tuck your toes, lift your knees, turn your knees to the left, bring your right hip down, pause in a seated side twist position. Push with the hands, lift the rib cage up. And twist from left to right. Okay, then slide your right arm long, lie onto your side body. And if you want to make it a bit more demanding, you can lift the side ribs and the side waist away from the ground. You could also prop your head up and let the side of your waist and ribs be down. Hover the left leg and place your hand to the front of your knee. Push the knee forward energetically and move your hips back, and then place your hand to the outside of your knee, so technically it's above, and push your right knee down into the floor as you press the left knee up into your own resistance. Feel your glutes get stronger. Now pull the knee in, open the knee up, hold the back of your thigh, and extend your leg straighter from there. That shaking is not an accident. That is the real deal. Evander Holyfield, that is full stretch. Holy! Who said yoga isn't a spiritual experience? Same is true for Bowspring. I almost feel like it's more because I feel the body even more. Okay, bend your knee, lower your knee down, left hand flat in front of your chest, push your way back up. Come to all fours position, and just in between the second side, we often would do cat-cow in traditional yoga where you round like this and then arch. Instead, in Bowspring, try and find snake eel where you go one ear to one shoulder and you just go side to side. Okay, then tuck your toes, lift your knees to hover, turn your knees over to the right. This time you get to see the back body as I do this. You could rise onto your right fingertips and twist from right to left, lifting the rib cage up, feeling the tone and stretch through your belly. Okay, then slide your left arm long, lie onto your side body. Hover the right leg, place your hand to the front of your knee, push your knee forward into your own resistance, move your hips back, press the left knee down, and slide your right hand to the outside of the right knee, push that knee up, feel your glutes get stronger, keep the arch that you create in your low back, and then move the knee in, open the knee up, hold the back of your thigh, and extend your leg straighter with a T-O-R finish. Holy. Finish for 3, 2, and 1. And roll over onto your back. And in this case, I came off of the mat, so you can go one by one, moving the head, push the head down, move the rib cage, push the rib cage down, move the hips, move the feet, just moving the whole body back onto the mat. Then keep your knees bent, feet flat. Check to see that your low back is lifted away from the ground. So that's great, but not the upper back. So push your rib cage down into the floor, hold the back of your right thigh and extend your leg up into the air. And I can sometimes benefit as well by looping the foot up with a strap and just doing the same thing. There's a big difference for me if the low back is slightly lifted versus when the low back is flat to the ground. And for years and years and years and years and years, I would hear people say to protect your back, push your low back flat to the floor. But the feedback my body gave me was that hurt. And then in something like Bowspring, where the emphasis was keeping the natural curvature of the spine, I went, well, that works for me. I don't just say things because I read them somewhere, but to actually experience and feel those things and offer the effects that I experienced to other people. In some ways, it's just like getting a fast track to success. Okay, and switch to the other side. So I'm just looping the foot up, keeping the low back slightly lifted. Gently pull down if you're using the strap as you push up. If you're holding the back of your thigh, use your hands to pull your thigh bone down into your hip socket as you then extend the leg up to the ceiling. If you're outside, the sky. If you're in the backwards world, down to the floor. I don't know. Is that from Stranger Things, the upside downsy? Okay, and then lower your foot down. This time now, dig down with your elbows, push your feet and lift your hips up. And I like to do the Bowspring version of bridge, which is to actually prop the hips up with a block at the lowest setting. So actually dropping the hips down, lifting the belly up, and putting the arms into chin-up bar position. Then hover the right heel, pull the foot back energetically, get tone in the leg, lift the knee in towards the chest, and then extend the leg up into the air. And this is not a long hold for me. Lower your foot and switch sides. So hover the left heel, pull the foot back towards the hips energetically. Feel the back of the leg get strong and engaged. Not too much, but just enough. And pull your knees in and extend your leg up into the air as best as you can while maintaining the arch. Drop the hips down. You can actually encourage more stretch by keeping the same shape, but just pushing more weight back with your pelvis into a block, or maybe it's the floor or just lower down to the ground. One more breath. And lower your foot. Push with your feet, lift your hips, move any props off to the side. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh for thread the needle position. Again, doing your best to keep the low back slightly lifted from the ground. Lift your left foot, slide your right hand in between the gap of the legs to hold the top of your shin. And use your hands to pull your left thigh bone down into the hip socket. And use your right elbow to nudge your right knee out to the side. Slowly soften the pace. And don't get too relaxed. We'll finish with a couple of seated positions, an opportunity to sit in stillness. So release that and switch to the other side. So the left ankle crosses the right thigh. This may be enough of a stretch right here, or lift your right foot. Slide your left hand into the gap of your legs. Hold the top of your right shin. Pull from knee down towards your hip. Push the left knee energetically out to the side. Lift your chin. Breathe. And slowly lower your foot just to even out the body. Reach your left arm over and roll to your left side. Got stuck by blocks. The cork ones are pretty firm. And use the right hand to push your way back up. Coming to a seated position, have your feet in front of you though. And join the bottoms of your feet together. So not only do I use a block, I actually go one extra height up on the block. Bottoms of the feet out to the side. Bottoms of the feet together, knees out to the side. My brain was starting to move to Shavasana there. Opportunity to hinge forward and hook your elbows to the front of your shins. So in general, Bowspring emphasizes the natural curvatures of the spine through most poses. Just speaking from experience, it is still important to find range of motion. We don't want to just be in the natural curves. We also want to encourage testing the ends of our ability to forward fold or back bend. Okay, slowly come up. Keep your left leg as it is and slide your right leg forward and a little bit out to the right. That way you can keep the hips square. And now pull the left heel directly in front of the pubic bone. In my case, it's actually maybe a little bit underneath just because I'm on a block. And twist over the right leg. And not offered a lot in Bowspring, so these seated positions, bend your right knee in this case and pull the heel down and back towards the hips to create what's called wave leg. And then you can cup the back of your head or hands to the top of the head and lift up as you hinge at your hips first and go to your edge. And that's about all I need to do to get a good solid stretch here. You may go a little bit further if you're more flexible, and also a good example where a strap can be quite useful, holding on and pulling back, lifting up and hinging forward. Okay, and come up and switch to the other side. So I find it easier to go left leg out, right foot in. You might do the hokey pokey and begin all over again. But twist towards the left, press down with the sit bones. Opportunity to cup the back of your head, lift up and hinge forward. Combine strength with flexibility. So it's not a check out, but a check in. Practice is really just a ritualized form of self-reflection, an opportunity to use the body to find out more about ourselves internally. So without judgment, when you do go inward, like peeling away layers of an onion, how does it feel? What are the emotions that come up? What's going on right now for you? There's no need to only look for the good. It's okay to be in the dark places. And that's why we have the practice and we do it regularly, so that we have something to fall back on when we lack the motivation or our hearts are heavy. Okay, inhale and slowly come up. And one last one, go both legs forward a little bit out to the side. I can't go too far out to the side and tilt forward. Again, you could cup the back of your head. I have some friends who, no matter what, even if I say go 90 degrees or 120 degrees, they'll go 180. They just have to go way out to the side. So just whatever you need as a last position. Again, you could come down onto the hands. This one's a little harder. You need actually 2 straps. I do actually have 2, but you'd have to be almost like a water skier if you were using straps. And then we'll close with 1 minute of silence. So come up, end up in a cross-legged position, sitting on your heels, laying on your back, positioning your legs up the wall. Whatever allows you to be comfortable for just this last minute with your eyes closed. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Namaste.